Today, we're going to unpack a feeling that so many of us know, but we might not have a name for it. You know, that fiercely independent shield we sometimes put up? Well, let's find out what's really going on behind it.
Thanks, but I've got it. Or, no, really, I'm good. How many times have you said that? It's almost a reflex, right? Even when, deep down, you're struggling. It's a phrase that sounds so strong, so capable, but what's really happening underneath all of that?
You know that exact moment? A friend offers to help you with something big. A coworker says, "Hey, let me take that off your plate." And instead of feeling relief, you get this wave of discomfort. It's almost like an alarm bell goes off in your head, telling you to just politely say, "No thanks."
Well, that feeling, that gut instinct to refuse help, it isn't just some random quirk you have. It's actually a well-known psychological pattern, and it has a name. Understanding it is really the first step to seeing the whole thing differently.
And that name is hyper-independence. Now let's look at the key words here, excessively and to their own detriment. See, this isn't just about being a self-sufficient person. This is when self-reliance goes into total overdrive, to the point where it actually starts to work against you.
And this is absolutely crucial. From the outside, hyperindependence can look like incredible strength. People might even admire you for it. But from the inside, it often just feels like you're carrying this heavy shield that you can never, ever put down. A shield that's protecting you from something you're afraid of.
So, the big question is why? Why do we build this shield in the first place? What's the psychological blueprint behind this whole behavior? Okay, let's unpack the core reasons.
All right, let's dive into the first and maybe the most powerful reason this shield goes up. It's all rooted in a very common, very human fear. This is that deep-seated worry that if you accept help, you're becoming an inconvenience. You feel like you're taking up someone's precious time, their energy, their resources, and the guilt that comes with that feels way worse than just struggling to do it all by yourself.
And this is the little voice inside your head when that fear kicks in. It basically frames help not as a kind gift, but as a transaction. It creates a debt you feel like you'll have to repay, and that adds a whole new layer of pressure and anxiety to everything.
Now for our second reason. This one builds directly on that fear of being a burden, but it's all about how we think other people see us.
For a lot of us, needing help feels like admitting defeat. We interpret it as a sign that we're not capable enough, or not smart enough, or just not strong enough to handle our own lives. It feels like we're publicly announcing some kind of personal failure.
You see how this internal logic works? The fear isn't just about getting the task done. It's about protecting your image, your reputation as this competent, can-do-it-all person. It's all about what you think they'll think.
And that brings us to the third core reason. This one isn't so much about what others think, but it's about our own deep need to manage every single detail. Think about it. When you rely on someone else, you're giving up some of your control. You can't dictate exactly how they do the task, or when they do it, or what the final result is going to look like. And for someone who feels safest when they're in the driver's seat, that uncertainty is just deeply unsettling. This phrase just says it all, doesn't it? It's this perfect mix of perfectionism and that desire for control. The potential stress of trying to manage someone else's help feels so much greater than the stress of just shouldering the entire burden yourself. So, we've got these three big drivers, right? The fear of being a burden, seeing help as a weakness, and that deep need for control. But what's really fascinating is that all three of these point to one central idea in psychology. This is the key that kind of unlocks this whole mystery.
This one concept helps us understand the fundamental difference in how people view the simple act of giving and receiving help. Get ready for it, because this is the aha moment that makes all the other pieces just click into place.
Okay, check this out. On one side, you have what's called balanced reciprocity. Think of this like a communal well. It's a fluid mindset where help just flows freely between people. Everyone draws from it when they need to, and they add to it when they can. But on the other side, you have imbalanced reciprocity. This is a totally different way of thinking. It's transactional, like keeping a detailed social ledger in your head, tracking every single debt and favor.
And there you have it. This is the engine that drives hyper-independence. When you're operating with this mindset of imbalanced reciprocity, accepting help feels dangerous. It puts you in social debt, it makes you feel weak, and it creates this nagging obligation that you feel pressured to repay, usually right away in an equal measure. It's really no wonder the instinct is to just say no.
So, what do we do with all this? The goal here isn't to get rid of self-reliance altogether. Of course not. It's about finding a new vantage point. It's really about redefining what it actually means to be strong.
Because maybe, just maybe, the ultimate form of strength isn't building a wall so high that nobody can possibly get in. Maybe real strength is having the courage to leave a gate in that wall. You know, the courage to ask for help, to accept it gracefully, and to see connection not as a weakness, but as a fundamental human need and a source of incredible power.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. We spend so much time praising what we can build all by ourselves. But just imagine, what could you build? Your career, your family, your community, your life? What could you build if you had the courage to let other people help you lay some of the bricks? Something to think about.